What's up, Internet? Welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2. In the last episode, we finished up our business here in Oliveira, which is just the south side of the Starward belt. Carmen is on our side, and he's willing to help us take on Utsubo, who might be trying to cause an infiltration of a corporation into that space, which is obviously not good. Okay, so yeah, this is impassable, but... and we just came from the Hollow, so I think our next step is going to be back to the scatter yards. We'll work off a couple cycles, and then we'll head north, because I can't head anywhere else. So here we go. Okay, right, scatter yards. And scatter yards here... I forget what the... So I have to get fuel here. Or at least I have to work for fuel. So... Ship figures buy a meal. This might go a little bit faster. The engine component fabricators in the hub. These aren't engine components. These are scrap components. Yeah. Okay. Supplies fuel. I could fill fuel for 52. So, can I work? Cool. Okay, we got a little bit of engine components going on there. Yeah, is there anything I could do to work here? Oh, that's not good. I should... Yeah, I gotta be careful then, because scatter yards doesn't give me... Okay, so that said, let's get the frick out of here. So let's fill up on fuel and GTFO. Is there anything else I could do with... So I'm going to be wanting to scavenge fuel every single day no matter what, because I'm going to be traveling distances. Let's try to get some... Yeah, I can't even use my dice, really. Can I do anything even on my ship? No, supplies I shouldn't use. Yeah, I have nothing to really use this on. Okay, well, onward we go. I forgot there's a button here for the rig. I should use that more. Okay, so now let's go to Flotsam. Because I can't, right, because I cannot go through... Yeah, I can't go through the irradiated zone. All right, to the Flotsam. Okay, not so great rolls, but we could deal with this because we can actually make money here, I think. We could buy a meal, which is good. We can work. Great. And this one we should be able to work too, right? Yes. Buy engine components. I don't really want to do that. And we have fuel we could fill up here. So we want to make... We just want to make money. So let's just make... Let's spend a couple stations here. On this one, let's just keep plotting at it. And the scrap is actually good. I'm glad we're getting, like... I'm actually glad we're getting that. Okay, that's fine. I definitely want to eat here. Cool. I feel honestly like we should just keep moving. Okay, so map time. Let's go now. Straight to Holmes Rock, right? Let's do it. You find yourself in the cockpit, alone with Flint. They have a habit of entering a room so silently that you don't notice them arrive, or the reverse, leaving so silently that you turn around to find them gone. Right now, they hover expectantly at the corner of your vision, preparing to speak. Do you ever think about your original? The way they ask the question, you could tell they've been eager to ask it for a while. The person you're emulated from, I mean. The person who sold you to SNR. Flint's expression doesn't betray any emotion, but you feel like you can detect some unknowable feeling whirling behind their eyes. Sometimes I can't stop thinking about them, about who they were, and if who I am has anything to do with them. Flint looks away. Is my personality a product of being a sleeper, or simply a copy of theirs? Have I changed, or am I still identical to them? Does the emulation process, the loss of memory, the insertion into a frame, actually make us totally different people? What came through the process of emulation, and what was blocked? Flint is looking around the cockpit rapidly now, their eyes flicking from object to object as they speak. Are their memories still inside me, but cut off, concealed? And if I admit it, I wonder if I even know what it feels like to be a person. Do the humans around me feel the things I feel? Or do they feel more, feel less, feel somehow differently? Do they feel the creeping claustrophobia of being trapped inside a body with no escape? Flint's eyes flick back to you. Or do only we know how that truly feels? I believe they do. I don't know if it's enough to just believe. Flint meets your eye. I want to know. You're the first sleeper I've met since my escape. We can find out together. Share your experiences. There's a wall in you. One that you have built for yourself. One that separates the kind of questions Flint is asking from the parts of you that you need to live. You feel it now, like a weight in your chest. And behind, there's a raging torrent pressing against it. But you cannot take down the wall. You would drown. But in this moment, for Flint and for yourself, you take out a single brick. You make a gap in the wall, and you share what comes bursting forth. You talk about what it feels like to wake up in a dying body, to catch a glance of yourself in a mirror, to be seen and reminded of your false and fractured face. You share the pain of lost memories, of fleeting deja vu, of dreams that slip beneath your waking life and replace it. You find in your broken bodies and unsteady minds a kind of solidarity, one shared between connected strangers who might, one cycle, understand each other as friends. As you put the brick back in and shore up your defenses, you know that cycle will not be this one, but its distant possibility is a reassuring one. Whoa. Friends! Okay, so we're back here, and this is what we're looking for. Solheim data. This Solheim Bay is sealed, but with enough data you might be able to crack the encryption and get inside. You drown the locking system in data, and it gives up and unseals the door. You're in. Aha. Old fabricator. There's a faded old NeoVend printer in the bay. Feeding it data should authorize the component vending process. Interesting. Okay. Oh, so we could get Solheim data to print us rare components. That's cool. Okay. Copy that. Okay, what else is here? I forget. So we're well stocked on fuel, so we could get that. Food. This is our rig. Right, we're going to want to use this one to get money. The Suncatchers need a constant supply of scrap for repairs and construction. Holmes Rock saves most of its income for this. Let's sell some scrap then. Yeah, that's nice. Let's get a little bit more of that. I mean, that's worth that alone. I almost might sell that all off because I don't really see another use for scrap at this point, but alright, the old relay, though. The arrays in the relay are hooked up to the old terminals. Safely disengaging these will allow clean extraction. Within the relay, there are multiple arrays that Kimball could use, but you need to find and cut out the best one. Okay, so I don't have this skill at all, so I'm going to have to go here. Thankfully, I have some good rolls today. And in the meantime, I'll just work. If I don't have good enough rolls, I'll just work. Okay, a little bit of energy. That's one day done. Let's see, is this worth my time? Not that one. Not that one either. Okay. To the rig we go. And end the cycle. Good rolls. We've got a message, Sleeper. Seraphin comes to the bunks to get you, his mood unusually serious. He brings you to the cockpit, his keepsake coin in his hand the whole time, spinning between his fingers. Seraphin is worried. Once you're in the cockpit, you recognize Carmen's voice immediately playing over the rig's speakers. Sleeper, I hope this message finds you and your crew safely. You'll forgive me if I'm a little tight on the details. My message is as follows. We are ready. We'll be waiting when we're agreed. Godspeed. The message ends with a click. So, Seraphin takes a deep breath. They're waiting in Greenbelt, the wheat sheaf, he said, wherever that is. Ready for this? We need to prepare. Seraphin nods. No point rushing into this. We'll have one shot. Quiet falls in the cockpit. There doesn't seem to be much more to say. Carmen will be waiting, but you know he'll want you to be prepared. I'll be ready when you are, Sleeper. Seraphin nods to you. You nod back. You know where you need to go to end this. Ooh, end game. Actually calling it out. Oh, and we got a ton of fuel off that. Good job, team. So that's really the benefit of having this team, is they can actually end up sourcing a lot of stuff for us. So I'm gonna flip them now to cryo, and in the meantime, I'm gonna do this. I might just have it. And have some rolls to spare. Nice. An array has been extracted. Now you just need to get it back to Kimball in the hollow. Oh, look at that. Yeah. And this is just to get more components. That's good to know, but not necessarily needed. I guess we just... Let's try to... Is that the best use of these valuable items? We could sell engine components, huh? Broker a sale to a passing crew in need of repairs. Yeah, to be honest, I'd rather have that. And then... Cool. So we're back up on food. I can use my last rolls here to get some work done. Dope. Okay, we're doing really well. So now the question is... Oh, fuck, I didn't even... Junie has found the location of a bunker facility, a potential treasure vault of data and Solheim tech. You'll be the first people to set foot here since the class. I forgot, the whole reason we were here is for this. Wait, what's this? Right, there are two things that I have to do here. What's the other one? Get engine components in this shadow. Oh, wait, did I need those engine components? Shit, are you kidding? Oh, but I could go... This is now just like spacefaring. So I can go to scatter yards, right, and print them. Right, I just got to be careful about the scatter yards with the fuel. Okay, so that's like a very last minute thing, I think. Right, so this is actually my goal here. This one. Yeah, let's do it. I have everything ready to go for it. So Junie's in, no matter what. And I feel... Oh, hello. Well, you don't make sense to take. I mean, again, it's Eugene because he has the Endure skill. I don't have anybody else with Endure. If I did, it would make more sense, but all of these contracts have some sort of Endure focus. So I need to have the Endure skill. Therefore, Eugene is the only person I can take. Let's do it. I have all the other skills covered, though. I feel pretty good about that. That's it. Seraphin nods towards the featureless asteroid. Those are the coordinates Junie gave me. Good rolls. You look out at the rock. It's like thousands, hundreds of thousands of other rocks in the Starward belt. All these objects, much the same, spread across a huge circumference of space. A good place to hide something. That's it? Junie speaks up from the back of the cockpit. That's it, Seraphin confirms. She drifts forward, her eyes tracing the shape of the rock. There, she points. That hexagonal crater, I'm guessing this one. She turns to you. That's the entry. You look at the dark spot on the already dark rock. It's a start. Manual labor isn't my favorite. Yujin comes in from the corridor. But long-lost treasure? I can get into that. You look out at the unassuming rock and wonder what it might contain. A few dusty tunnels or something more? Time to go find out. Okay. I feel much lighter with this one. Taking a brute force approach to getting inside the bunker will be faster, but also more dangerous. Well, you can try that out, Yujin. All right, well, he did it a little bit. The hatch has been sealed intentionally. Precisely cutting the seal away would be the safest way to gain entry. Wonderful. I'm going to just do that. And then I'm probably going to want to give it one of my 6s. I don't really want to do that. Let's give it both of our 6s. Nice. You have access to the bunker, but the question remains, what awaits inside? Access spire. Oh. One final airlock stands between you and the interior of the bunker. It's in pristine condition. Okay, well, we give Junie the ability to crack this one. Nice. The security comes up away in layers. This place was locked up tight. Okay, I have just 1s left, so maybe we pause this for today. Let's end the cycle. Oh my god, 3 6s. Look at that. Okay, so let's just start dumping them. I'll let Junie take the first crack at it. Cool. Let's use my 5. And then how about my other 6? And then I'll have 2 6s to go. There's a squawk from the control system and the door clunks. You can get inside now. When you entered the access spire, the crew suddenly went very quiet. The images of a vast space seen through the viewing windows, the pristine wall paneling, the cool and the quiet. There's a sacred mood to this place, a feeling of hallowed ground. Now, as the facility's final entry lock whirs, flooding the passage with stale, dusty 10,000-cycle-old air, Junie speaks. It's impossible. She drifts down the spire and out of the cavernous interior. A constellation of red specks mark the vast extent of the space, and within it, a ring of monolithic buildings curves away, running across the circumference of the massive chamber. You follow her, slowly, out of the doorway and into the bunker. With a name like that, you had imagined low-sloped ceilings, stark tunnels, a basement cut into the rock. But this place is a cathedral, a cocoon the size of a city. This is more like it. Yujin follows you out into the cavern. This is a treasure house if I've ever saw one. We aren't here to loot. Junie turns back to give Yujin a reprimanding look. This is a historic site. Yujin shrugs. Historic or not, it's going to be worth something. Descending to the ring takes a while. Despite the empty space, no one wants to rush through it. The feeling of entering a sacred territory remains, though the deeper you go inside, the more obvious it becomes that this place is more tomb than temple. You touch down amongst gray metal units, most of them featureless and dark. They tower above you now, their plain frontages revealing little about their function and interior. Stay close. Junie moves ahead into the gap between two structures. This place is a labyrinth. Welcome, visitors. A pale flicker appears near one of the units, at the top of a square pedestal. I am the warden. Please provide access credentials. The flicker stabilizes into a figure, a statue of pulsing light. It pauses for a moment before repeating its request. Junie freezes and holds a calming hand out to you. She retrieves her deck, sliding it carefully from her backpack, and turns it on. You look over at the warden, who waits patiently, wide-eyed and absent, restating its security request with a regular rhythm. You guess that this avatar just exists to make human interactions comfortable. Its true body is the facility itself, this vast interior ring, speckled with sensors and systems. Suddenly, the warden stops speaking. Then a flash of red passes along the corridor. Credentials not provided. Lockdown activating in 10, 9. You look over at Junie, whose eyes are rapidly scanning through a screen full of data. Fastening. Junie stumbles through the pronunciation of the passphrase. Litter. Ildsted. She looks up at the warden's avatar expectantly. The warden flickers again, distorts, and then stabilizes. Oversight connection not active. Reattempting. It repeats itself again, then again, intoning the words in a regular rhythm. You look over at Junie, holding still as if encountering a wild animal. She meets your eye but gives no indication of any action you might take. Loop bypassed. Engaged. Welcome, officer. The synthetic voice shifts to a different tone. Leonard Dow. The avatar's white eyes stay blank and blind. And guests. This thing has been working since Solheim collapsed? Eugene raises an eyebrow. Most of those protocols lost their minds long ago. Junie looks back at you and then at the warden. The figure flickers, staring out over your heads into the dark. Let's move. 1 second. Junie holds up a hand. She looks at the warden. Warden, are we approved to access all facilities? Yes, Officer Dahl. The warden replies, please remember, you're responsible for the conduct of your guests while visiting our facility. Hear that, officer? Eugene grins at Junie. You'll take the rap for me. You move forward, pushing between the structures towards a large building, in the hope that it holds the facility's central data core. As you do, you pass benches, barren gardens with desiccated grass. A drinking bottle floats in the air among the dust motes. This place is dead. Be aware, officer. The warden reappears in the dark, shimmering on a pedestal. Due to this facility's extended run cycle and the activation of the hibernation protocol, access to the central data store will be strictly limited. However, if you wish to show your guests the habitation facilities, I'm sure they will enjoy the tour. The avatar remains expressionless, disconnected from the voice that accompanies it. On a personal note, I'm glad to see you return to the facility. The figure flickers. I'm happy to report that I am ready for program reactivation at any time. Junie stares at the avatar. Thank you, Warden. She pauses. Can I ask how long ago the hibernation protocol was activated? Certainly. 11,473 Helian standard cycles ago. The warden distorts. If I am in error, I apologize. Some subsystems have not been properly maintained. You look at the blind avatar, standing on its pedestal, waiting for an order that will never come. So many cycles in the dark, patiently holding this place together as if it fell apart. Resisting entropy in this bubble of the past. Thank you, Warden. That'll be all. Junie nods to the avatar, which promptly blinks out of existence, leaving only the dust and the dark. She turns to you and speaks quietly, though none of you know what sensors the warden's vast body might have. My access. It won't last long, she sighs. We need to make the most of this. We should search the facility. The warden will likely allow that, but our presence probably won't be tolerated for very long. Junie nods. Let's get on with it. All right, warden stress. Okay, ring facility, bunker core. The more dramatic way to steal the data is to rip the physical storage out of the core, subtly, of course, and then extracting the entire cache will alert the warden, so the data needs to be scraped away layer by layer. Okay, so Eugene can't do shit here, so let's see. Can you do anything here? Yes. Hundreds lived and worked in this facility, and the evidence is everywhere. You can't help but search through it. The hab units are like a museum, preserved perfectly and in the sealed bunker. What can you find? And here, the facility's storage depot is in incredible condition. There has to be useful components here among the tools. There's a lot of well-preserved components in the facility. With care and time, they can be extracted. Well, I don't necessarily associate Eugene with care and time, but maybe we could do it. Okay, his personal stress is fine. Okay, I have 2 6s, which is great. Let's do the more dramatic way, because that's probably going to net us more progress here. Nice. Okay, so we're about 1/3 of the way there. I don't feel necessarily confident with my 1s doing anything. I could push. Yeah, let's do it. And it's a 1. Okay, well, that was great. Thank you, game. That's why that upgrade is going to be really helpful. Let's end the cycle. So Warden should be going up just by 1. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, great. 2 5s, 2 4s. Okay, good all around. Let's get Eugene's done first. Let's see if he can help us out here. Oh, I see. It starts now. Nice. It seems the storage bays will have given up all the components they will offer. What did I get? Did I just get more rare components? I think so. Okay, so that's Eugene's side done. Let's try to keep going with this. I can get 2 6s out of this if I plus it up. I could get Junie to get 2 6s also if I use this one. And I think that'll do it. Nice. The warden shimmers in the corner of the room. This is all you'll get for now. Done. Junie removes her cable from the data core's port. She looks up from the boxy piece of hardware, one that wouldn't fit inside any ship short of a freighter, and stares at the domed ceiling above, an oculus at its apex letting out a shaft of light into the hall. It's a grand piece of architecture for what amounts to a massive piece of data storage. But then, Solheim always did have a sense of grandeur when it came to its projects. Why should a secret signal monitoring facility be any less opulent than its other buildings? Find anything good? Hard to tell. She squints at the vast data core. There's too much in here. I barely scratched the surface. We only know what's really there when I have time to process it. We should go. Junie sighs. I'm not sure how the warden will react. She looks back over her shoulder at the vast core. I don't think we'll be let back in to get more. As if listening for its name, the warden suddenly apparates on one of the pedestals. It stares, statuesque, across the hall, its eyeline way above your head. Officer Dow. Its voice sounds strange now, stretched, drawn out. I have detected inconsistencies in the central data core. I believe there may have been unauthorized access. Junie looks at you nervously. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will investigate when I can. But for now, my guests and I, she looks at you, have to depart. The warden flickers. The warden bends and warps. The warden screeches, a pulse of digital noise. Of course. The warden's voice is still broken, still slowed. I hope you enjoyed your visit to this facility. Junie looks up at the blind statue. Something is moving inside it, making its skin, if it has a skin, bend away from its body. Wait. You wait, floating there in the dust. Junie approaches the pedestal. Officer Dow, can I ask when you will return? The warden blinks with its white eyes. The facility has been idle for many cycles, and without reactivation, we may face further difficulties in its maintenance. The warden pulses, has been so long. Watch. You watch as Junie approaches the pedestal. I don't think I'll be able to return. I'm sorry, warden. The warden flashes red for a moment so small that you could almost believe you imagined it. This is as I expected, Officer Dahl. The warden is still now, its lips no longer moving as they speak. Its chest no longer moves to emulate breath. It is a statue. Thank you for your honesty. It has been an honor to serve you. I recommend you leave swiftly. With that, the warden blinks out. You and Junie kick off from the ring, outside the core, and rise up towards the spire you entered through. As you do, you watch a few of the red lights embedded into the framework of the cavern flicker. Junie turns to you as you ascend through the dark. Do you think the warden is sentient? I mean, as a sleeper, maybe you... She goes quiet. I thought you might know. It could have become sentient since the collapse. Is that possible? I suppose with no oversight from Solheim technicians, the protocol could develop some rudimentary learning skills. She pauses. Seems unlikely it could learn to think, though. She looks up to the approaching spire. Eugene is waiting for you in the access spire. Let's bury this coffin. Junie cycles the airlock, and as you go through, now in your suits and helmets, ascending the sealed spire. As you do, you look out of the viewing windows and something catches your eye. The ring's red lights and those few left on inside the cavern are turning off, layer by layer. You turn to Junie, but she's already looking out of the opposite side. The warden is shutting it all down. Junie pauses. She's ending it. You have to force the hatch back open as the top, and by the time you do, the spire is dark inside, the pristine walls no longer lit. You come out onto a canvas of stars, and a possible number of them spread out in every direction. You take a moment to look at them. After being tucked away in the bunker, they seem impossibly bright and impossibly beautiful. You glance across at Junie and see she's looking up at the stars too, absorbing their light, as if doing so might lift her out of this time and into another one, where things were different. Okay, so cool. We can still do this. Great. Well, I'm just gonna dump everything I have into this. Is it worth it to spend another day here? I feel like it might be. let's just do that. I mean, we're not super down on our luck here. We have good enough rolls where I feel confident in that. Okay, here we go. So, oh, not that one. Put me in, coach. Okay, there are more hab units to search, but it seems like you found all you can. There's an unsettling quiet to the hab units of the facility, a soft silence that blankets every room and hallway. It's obvious from the number of rooms, the detritus, the scale of the place, that it was built to house hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Perhaps it did. Perhaps, at the height of Solheim's control of the system, these rooms were filled with life. What kind of life would it be, though, maintaining and running a secret installation inside a distant rock? No sun to speak of, no outside beyond the vast cavern that surrounds you, an eternal dark, punctuated by the flash of artificial light. And yet, even in such places, lives grow. You know that for yourself from being a sleeper, from your work amongst other sleepers in the most wretched and distant corners of the surrogate systems. Even in the endless dark, people find ways to live. Come, take a look at this. Junie is searching on her own a few rooms away. You glide through an open doorway into a living room with couches meant for zero-G use, a magnetic table, and a window that looks out to the regular constellation of red lights that describe the limits of the world. Junie is holding an object that makes you stop still and stare, blinking at what seems like an unusual reversal of scale. It's a model, you realize, of the rig. Not your rig, obviously, but a rig, or an MEV rigger class, as the plaque on the base tells you. Mobile extraction vehicle. Junie follows your eyes to the plaque. Rigger class? She frowns. Seriously? Is that why we call them rigs? She laughs, the noise bouncing back hard and cruel in the empty room. What does rigger mean anyway? She sighs. Another Solheim mystery. You look at the model, still fascinated by seeing your ship rendered in such careful detail. You try to imagine what this model meant to those who lived here. A child's toy? A meaningless corporate knickknack? The model's purpose remains opaque. There were so many of these flying around in the system before the collapse, you know. Junie turns the model over in her hand. Solheim used to rent them out to colonists. I've seen the records. That was what they did here. They claimed the system, then rather than exploit it themselves, they provided goods and services to those who would. The workers paid for transit to the system, then accommodation, equipment, and access to mining claims. Other corps like XPR and Neovend paid Solheim to access this closed market to provide other services. Meanwhile, Sybil paid even more to test terraforming tech in the system. They built massive projects here, rich from work they only facilitated but never undertook. But then they collapsed? Yeah, that's what happens when you're built on other people's work. A few high-profile accidents, malfunctions, and the exodus begins. Once it starts, the shareholders lose trust, and Junie turns and squints out the window. Here we are at the far end of it. Here. Junie turns and hands you the rig as a rig model, a gift. You take it and turn it over in your hands. You see something on the base, some words scratched in that you can't read. You run your fingers over them, touching the past. That's the closest thing to a treasure I think will turn up out here. Junie sighs. The people who worked this place didn't have much to their names, it seems. And what little they did have, well, Solheim owned that too. She leads you out of the hab units, passing countless doors, some sealed, some open, that lead to countless rooms where countless employees live lives, or tried to, in the shadow of Solheim. Like it or not, this is what made the Helian system. What built the decaying structures you cling to as they orbit their star. What that legacy means now is a decision every resident of the Starward Belt has to make. And I think we're good. Yeah, that's it. That's this one. Done. And that's this episode done. Also, as we know, when we come back, we're going to have a lot of exposition and the closeout of this contract. So we'll do that on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like and subscribe. We have the point of no return unlocked, I think, at this point. Now it's just going to be about getting to it. But we're going to take our time a little bit to get there so we can fulfill our last couple quests. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.